Okay, so for those of you that saw that thumbnail and was like wondering if I lost my mind, no. The women have spoken. Our women subscribers are growing and they have asked me to give them the sexiest fragrances that really like turn me on. So stick around.
I finally found what I'm missing, and now you got all my attention. Driving me wild, got me wishing that you were all mine. You're irresistible, so refreshing. You're irresistible, tell the essence. Can feel your energy all over me. Close my eyes and I breathe in. You're irresistible.
What's up, fam? It's Cam and welcome back to CFR. And yes, I've had a few comments down in the videos that have been requesting a list of women's fragrances that work for me or work for men. And this will also be good for you fellas. That way, you know, if you can get some good smelling stuff on your ladies. But primarily, this is for the ladies. Okay, so this is going to be an assortment here, okay? So I actually, for the most part, have had someone I've either dated or had a girlfriend or smelled in passing or something like that and asked them what they were wearing. Matter of fact, I had a couple other fragrances that I wanted to stick in here, but I didn't actually smell them on a woman, so I don't think that would be fair. You know, you can go around and smell something like, wow, that smells amazing, but I've actually smelled all of these on women, and it's 10, but actually I had a tie for number 1, so I've actually got 11. Okay, so how I rated these is by the smell and then also by the personality type that kind of went with the smell. So you know how like memories, you know, are jarred or whatever. So, you know, it might be, you know, sexy, flirty, whether somebody seemed like they really had their self put together. So I'm gonna kind of add that to it. So maybe that might help, you know, by your personality type. That doesn't necessarily mean that, you know, that's right or wrong, but that's just how I'm gonna gauge them. Coming in at number 10 from one of my all-time favorite designer brands. It is the designer brands of designer brands, actually. It is from Chanel, and it is COCO Mademoiselle. Now, when you think of a special event, you think of a lady dressed up like in a sleek black dress, you know, an evening event, a wedding rehearsal, something, you know, where, I don't know, it just seems like a formal event, but still very sexy. That's what I get from COCO Mademoiselle. The last time I actually smelled it, I know they have a couple different versions. The one that I smelled and it was just like, was a head turner, was the Eau de Parfum Intense. That one was released in 2018 and some of the notes are bergamot, rose, patchouli, and woods. So if you're a well put together woman that kind of, you know, has her stuff together, I see this as kind of like, you know, some ladies are timid and shy. This is going to be an extrovert type perfume as far as my experience of smelling this fragrance. Just seems like, you know, a lady that's kind of in control of things. Okay, the next one coming in at number 9 is Tom Ford's Velvet Orchid. Now this is kind of a sweet and flirty and alluring fragrance that I think that would probably, I think this would fit any personality type. I have smelled this on older women. I've smelled it on younger women. I have smelled it on like the younger flirtatious type, and then the older that's just, you know, going about her daily business at the grocery store or whatever. So I think it's very versatile, but it's still very flirty and very seductive. And most anything that I've smelled from the Tom Ford line actually is really good on the men's and women's side. Coming in at number 8, actually jars a few memories. It is Narciso Rodriguez Eau de Parfum for Her. Now, the lady that wore this was somebody that I dated. Now, I do live in Fayetteville, which is right next door to Fort Bragg. And that's where our special forces are at, special operations, also the 82nd Airborne at Pope Air Force Base. So unfortunately, sometimes while those guys are in Iraq or Afghanistan or off to war or something like that, their girlfriends or their wives even will pretend that they're single. And that's actually what happened to me. The girl that wore this, just, she pretended like she was single. And then all of a sudden, after about 5 months of dating, it was just like, oh, I can't see you anymore. And then I found out very soon after her boyfriend had came back home from Afghanistan. So that doesn't mean that the girls are wearing this or trifling, but I'm just remembering the good times that we had, and we'll just leave out her bad judgment. This is a sexy musk fougere that was released in 2003. Some of the notes are orange blossom, vanilla, patchouli, and musk. Coming in at number 7 is probably the most popular out of these. Most of the women around here, if they do wear perfume, most of the time it's designer. You do run into those who are into niche perfumes. They'll go up to Cary or Raleigh where they have the nicer stores. There's not a huge variety around here other than like designers, Bath & Body Works, which some of the Bath & Body Works stuff really, really gets my motor humming for some reason. And of course you got Victoria's Secret. Primarily that's what I'm gonna smell around here. So if I do smell something other than that, it's really gonna jar my attention. But one of the more popular ones is from Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue Intense. Now I've seen this in people's lists before, so it's not surprising at all to smell this fragrance, and it does live up to the hype. There was a girl that I dated like 2 years ago that wore this fragrance. I actually bought it for her, so, but she loved it. I bought her several other perfumes, but this was the one that she really liked. And it was actually during a summer, was mostly like, it was spring and summer was the primary time that we were dating. And this is definitely a really good spring and summer fragrance. To me, this comes off kind of like a vacation scent. It's fresh, it's clean, it's flirty. It's everything that you would want in, like to wear in a warmer environment. Some of the notes in this one are lemon, Granny Smith apple or green apple, peach, jasmine, musk, and then amberwood and cedarwoods. I actually do like the intense version of this, just like I like the intense version better in the men's side, but I also don't mind the regular EDT. It does fine too, but I do prefer the intense. Coming in at number 6 is probably just as popular, maybe even more popular, among like years back, like when I was a little younger. This is a little bit more of a younger fragrance. I think that the light blue is also, super versatile, but for some reason, girls maybe like in their, maybe late teens to late 20s, probably like Good Girl from Carolina Herrera. Now this does seem to lean younger, it's flirtier, and I think it's ideal for like the warmer months, spring and summer, but it could be pulled off any time of the year. But there have been numerous times where I've seen that high heel on women's dressers or on their sink in their bathroom, and even left on my sink or my bathroom or whatever. But I still love the fragrance. Another one that I've smelled a lot, but it's still a very, very sexy fragrance. Okay, so technically we're in the bottom 5, but it's 6 because remember I've got a tie for number 1. This one actually really kind of warps my noggin. I'm not sure why. Actually, all of these do have an effect on me, but this one is just like, okay, yeah. It is Black Opium from Yves Saint Laurent. It is sweet, it's seductive. Yeah, I would definitely call it a date night fragrance. It has been worn with me on date night as well. There used to be a girl that I dated that was actually from Panama that wore this fragrance. So anytime I smell this, I think about her. She was a beautiful Latino woman that just really kind of messed with my noggin. Any of you guys who have ever dated a sexy Latino woman, or if you're a sexy Latino woman, you know what you do to us fellas. And Black Opium on a Latino woman, that's a dangerous combination. The primary notes that I remember smelling from this is vanilla and coffee, and you know, who think, you know, vanilla and coffee, how could that be super sexy? But trust me, it is. Okay, coming in at number 4 is from Abercrombie and Fitch. And there for a while, I can remember, you know, like numerous people would just drive 45 minutes up to Raleigh to go to the Abercrombie and Fitch store. So all the dudes were wearing Fierce and a lot of the women were wearing 8. And 8 is a very, very sexy fragrance. Now, where like the Fierce for men is more of, I don't know, I guess kind of like, I know some people consider it kind of like the Playboy fragrance or whatever. I feel like this is more for like a confident and well put together woman who kind of knows what she wants in life. When I actually had a job in Raleigh, or as Durham, but it's Research Triangle Park, that's in between Raleigh and Durham. That's actually considered the Silicon Valley of the East Coast. I had an IT job, and there was actually 2 women in my office that wore that. They had their mess together. I asked them what they were wearing, and lo and behold, 2 of them wore this. So that's kind of where my mind goes with those 2. But they still smelled very sexy, but they also, you know, were well put together, knew what they wanted in life. So that's what I get out of 8 from Abercrombie and Fitch. Coming in at number 3 is actually one of the more underrated Parfum de Marly women's perfumes. If you guys were watching, I guess, I don't know, it's probably been close to a year now maybe. We did a smell and rate. It was a his and her smell and rate, and I actually had some women's fragrances sent out and some men's fragrances sent out so we could do a smell and rate with me and my friend Desiree. And we had Delina, I think it was Delina Exclusive. So Delina and Delina Exclusive actually seem to be like the top selling women's perfumes for Parfum de Marly. So when I smelled Meliora, I was like, wow. I mean, like literally, I had a reaction when I smelled it. And then when you smell it on a female's skin, it's even more alluring, more sexy. I don't hear it talked about much, but ladies, if y'all have not tried that, that is one that actually will buckle me in the knees, for real. It's just like, it's florals and it's fruit. And I think it has blackcurrant and raspberry. Then it has florals like rose and ylang ylang. Then it has some woods, musk, and vanilla. It's just such a beautifully put together fragrance. So don't sleep on that one, fellas. You know, if you want to hook your girl up with something awesome, I think, especially like if she likes like fresh, fruity floral fragrances, this is not one that has like those heady white florals that, you know, kind of just like, I don't know, for me anyway, like if something is real like white floral heavy, it gives me a headache. This one is perfect. Those white florals in this do not bother me whatsoever. Okay, coming in at number 2 is Jean Paul Gaultier La Belle. Now, it took me a while to get my nose on this one, especially with a female that was wearing it. I have seen this perfume posted so many times on Instagram. I've seen a lot of talk about women who really love this. So when I actually smelled it, I was like, okay, is it gonna live up to the hype? And yes, it does. I mean, like, I know that like La Male has had real, you know, reactions for women. La Belle is gonna get those same reactions for guys like me. It is so seductive, it is so alluring. It is definitely really provocative. It has a juicy pear note in it. It also has some vetiver and vanilla. Just a very well put together fragrance. And if you're wanting to be sexy, flirty, provocative, whatever, vanilla does something to me anyway, but throw in juicy pear and vanilla, yeah. Game over. Okay, tied at number 1. The first one I'm gonna go with is Yves Saint Laurent Libre, or Libre. It is a very seductive and sensual fragrance. I've only smelled it on one lady, but it left a very, very long lasting impression. It's just a very well put together fragrance for sure. Even on the ad, it says that this perfume is for the lady that kind of makes her own rules. And that is definitely the type of fragrance that I get. And the lady that I smelled it on definitely kind of, you know, she definitely does her own thing. She walks to the beat of her own drum, to say the least. So some of the notes in this are lavender, orange blossom, and musk. It is a very, very, very sexy fragrance, very well put together. If you want to get noticed, if you want to turn heads, I would highly recommend LIBRE. And last but not least is the biggest statement maker of the lot. You know, I could have made it like a top 11, but what good would that make? So the reason that I said the YSL first is because I haven't smelled it as often by any means. Now my absolute favorite, most sexiest, mind-boggling women's perfume is from Amouage. It is Sunshine. Whew. Such a beautiful, sexy, fun, flirty fragrance. There was a girlfriend that I had that wore this, and every time I smelled it, even when I smell it today, my head gets fuzzy, gets foggy, you know, like my heart starts racing. This is that type of fragrance. So if you're really wanting to like make your man's knees buckle, get some Amouage Sunshine. Sunshine comes off as a gourmandish type fragrance with apricot, almond, and tobacco as some of the notes. Absolutely stunning. There was a girl that I met at Myrtle Beach that was wearing this fragrance, and I wound up like having numerous trips from her coming from Myrtle Beach to here and vice versa. And she was an optometrist, and she had like loads of cash. So I mean, it wasn't because she spoiled me, but she spoiled me in every way possible, as far as like cooking for me, just having fun, extremely spontaneous. Another one of those people that just really had their mess together, but at the same time knew how to let their hair down and have a lot of fun. And yeah, that brings back a lot of good memories. And anytime I smell this fragrance, it's just like, okay, this is like one of the best women's perfumes ever. So I know that this is different from the norm, but hey, we're getting more female subscribers. So to the ladies out there, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I love seeing y'all down in the comments, and I also love seeing in the analytics that our women subscribers are growing. I'm not neglecting you dudes, because you know I got you guys like all the time. But we had to show a little love to the ladies and let them know which perfumes is it that just like drives me gaga. And our boxer droppers, pretty much. So yeah, that's the gist of that one. So fellas, I hope you got something out of it if you stuck around and actually watched to see what I was talking about. So, you know, you might want to smell these on your wife, your girlfriend, your mistress, whatever the case may be. Until next time, be disruptive, wear what you want, when you want, have fun. Make sure that you're subscribed to Carolina Fragrance Reviews, activate that notifications bell, smash that like button, leave some comments down below. We'll see you next time on Carolina Fragrance Reviews.
Set me until you shimmer like